How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel, and we are talking about five important things to take notice of in comparing the Pixel 9a to the Pixel 8a, which was last year's A series device. And I'm going to point those things out in this video. But before I get into all that, if you guys could do me a absolute solid and smash that like button, I would definitely truly appreciate that. And come on, it only takes a second to do. So help me out here. Also turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a video upload or when I go live. And if you're new to the channel and you just click that subscribe button, thank you for doing so. Appreciate that. Same thing, like, turn on bell notifications, leave a comment on your thoughts, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts, and let's get into today's video. So the 9a and the 8a is being compared to by lots of people out there. They are sharing their experiences. They're sharing out things that matter to them. And so I just decided to go through the specifications of both phones and just pick out five things that I think are the one main important things to think about when comparison between these two devices in helping you with your purchasing decision. Should you upgrade to the 9a from the 8a, or should you buy the 8a over the 9a if you're looking to get a new phone? Let's see if this helps you out. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is display. Pixel 9a boasting a POLED 6.3-inch display, 1080 by 2424 pixels as a resolution with 422 pixel per inch density, Corning Gorilla Glass 3 with 2700 nits of peak brightness. You can see your display in direct sunlight. Well, as you look at the Pixel 8a, it's got a 6.1-inch display. It's an OLED panel, 1080 by 2400 pixels at 430 pixel per inch density, Corning Gorilla Glass 3 with 2000 nits of peak brightness. So in the sunlight, it'll do just fine as well. The screen to body ratio on the Pixel 9a is 83.5%, and on the 8a, it is 81.6%. So that's the display technology there, and obviously it's a very important thing because you interact with your device, you're going to be looking at the display. Now, people are like, what about the bezels? Who cares? Honestly, when you're looking at the display and you're reading social media, watching media content, you're not really looking at the bezels, so I'm not going to go into that. All right, number two is water resistance. The Pixel 9a steps its game up with an IP68 rating over last year's Pixel 8a, which is an IP67. So water and dust resistance is there on both ends, just a little bit more of a resistance and protection with the Pixel 9a. But my rule of thumb when it comes to this is don't purposely drown your phone, and do not ever take it into ocean salt water, because that will damage the protective grommets that are inside, and your phone will just go kaput and become paperweight. So rule of thumb is when it comes to water resistance, if it takes a splash in the rain, if you accidentally jump in the pool with it, you know it'll be okay. So don't purposely be like, I'm going to record an underwater vlog for 30 minutes, because no, that's not going to work out. Okay, come on. Number three is the processor chip. You got the Tensor G4 4nm processor with the Pixel 9a, and the Tensor G3 on the Pixel 8a, which is a 4nm processor as well. So obviously getting the same generation processor chip as the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro, 9 Pro XL, and 9 Pro Fold. You want to keep that in mind. Is there any major differences between the G4 and the G3? And there's some slight ones. Obviously, processing AI is a bit better on the Tensor G4. Now, when it comes to the modem connectivity for 5G, they both use the Exynos 5300 modem, so it's pretty much the same modem, which, you know, is pretty decent if you're on a T-Mobile network. Verizon is okay, and so is AT&T, depending on the network build-outs as well, if they're running standalone 5G or non-standalone 5G. So, but I would say just, you know, back to the processor chip, the G4 is able to do things and handle things like the Add Me feature in the camera, which is a pretty cool feature. You guys can look into that feature specifically. We'll talk about that in a future video. So number four is the cameras. All right. So on the Pixel 9a, it is boasting a 40 megapixel sensor, whereas on the Pixel 8a, it's boasting a 64 megapixel sensor. Now, you would say that, oh, well, you know what, 64 megapixels sounds better than 48, but you have to look at the manufacturer of the camera, and you have to look at certain elements to all of this. Sometimes the more megapixels doesn't mean the best photo quality. So when you're looking at the Pixel 9a, its 48 megapixel sensor is from Samsung. It's the GN8 48 megapixel sensor from Samsung. When you look at the Pixel 8a, it is boasting the IMX 787 from Sony. So difference in manufacturer, difference in camera size, the lens size, And the 48 megapixel is showing up to be a little better than what the photos you take from the Pixel 8a. So you can always go to websites like DxO Mark and see what the differences are between the camera sensors, which I'm going to do a video on my photography channel specifically on those two camera sensors and what are the differences. So look out for that video in the future. And lastly is the battery size, right? With a 5100 milliamp lithium polymer battery on the Pixel 9a, and then you got a 4492 milliamp hour battery on the Pixel 8a. So good size batteries on both, but you are going to get a lot longer of battery life with the Pixel 9a. I know this because I have an 8a and a 9a, and I'm able to run both the phones. And when I end my day with the 8a, I end it with about 30% battery. Same amount of usage, same amount of time. I end my day with the Pixel 9a at anywhere between 59 to 55%. So, that tells the tale. Large size battery. So anyways, these are the 5 things that I see a difference between the 8a and the 9a, and things that I would consider when trying to make a purchasing decision. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Comments, concerns, emotional outbursts regarding the comparison between these two devices, because they are pretty solid in my opinion. They are both worth getting, especially if you can grab the Pixel 8a for sub $250. And if you can find a deal on the Pixel 9a like I did, where I got it for $299, that's an even sweeter deal.